So what I firmly believe is that the real boom, the real growth that is yet to come will be entirely export-led, and it will happen through SMEs. Here, the businesses that were running until now, if someone was doing business worth 2 or 3 crore rupees a year, suddenly why have they started working abroad? No one will realize when that business grows from 20 crore, 25 crore to 100 crore, and we have already witnessed this kind of growth. There are well-established companies that we see today doing business worth 5,000 to 10,000 crore rupees in India. They have recently launched IPOs, and those IPOs have been blockbusters. 10 years ago, no one even knew their names. If 100 such companies have emerged before us in the last 4 years, then in the next 10 years, thousands of such companies will come up, and they will emerge from the SME sector.
Welcome to Market Pillars Uncovered. This is an educational series where we will talk to those who are redefining India's financial and business landscape. Today we have with us Mr. Jayant Mundhra, a popular content creator, market and startup observer, and business analyst. He is known for his razor-sharp breakdowns, whether it's about the economy, policies, or companies. In this episode, we will talk about the journey of India's economy over the next 5 years, the top 3 promising industries, the growth of Indian SMEs, and much more. Jayant, welcome, and should I say the chief builder of business news.
Well, thank you so much, and I have been following your work for many years. A big admirer of yours.
Thank you.
Really happy that today I could be a part of this program on Money TV. Thank you.
Thank you, and I am an admirer of yours as well. You have built a massive following with your deep analysis and educational content. Can you just tell us a little bit more about your numbers? Could you share them across platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp, etc.?
So my primary content goes on LinkedIn, which has a following of almost 97,500 people. There are almost that many followers there, and apart from that, I run a community on WhatsApp, which has around 31,300 people. So that's there, and in addition, there's another community called Prime Stuff, which has 8,000 people in it. Apart from that, there are 2 newsletters. One is completely focused on what's happening in China's economy, how things have happened. That one has around 4,000 to 6,000 subscribers. And there's another newsletter called Bharatnama, which is about the rise of India, the challenges that we still have to tackle. It's about what different parameters we can draw from other countries, what we can learn from them, so that's the focus. We have around 5,000 subscribers for that, and we're gradually growing it.
So you have a lot of information at your disposal. What do you think, how will India's economy evolve in the next 5 years?
A very significant feature of India's economy, which we all know, is something Lord Meghnad Desai once said. If the Indian government and the state support with their policies, India grows at 8%. If they don't, India still grows at 6%. So India is already growing, and it will continue to grow in the future as well. The question is this growth enough? Can we do even more? If not, then what kind of policies could help us achieve that? So it's important to track that.
Do you truly think that this ambitious $5 trillion target will be successfully achieved before the originally expected time?
To be frank, at the rate at which we are growing, today we have already become a $4 trillion economy. $5 trillion is almost there. It will happen in the next 2 years. But the question is that enough? As I said, think of it this way. Today, 6% of our country's population is above 60 years of age. In 20 years from now, that will be 20%. These will be the people whom our economy will have to support. Are we prepared for that? And if we continue to grow at this rate, the problem is that we are aging at a faster rate than our economy is growing. In simple, polite terms, this means that we will become rich later. We will grow old first, and this is a matter of great concern. So that's why we need to consider that while a $5 trillion economy is fine, what more can we do to break out of this 6 to 8% growth range and reach 10 or even 12% growth?
Okay. Then what do you think is the most exciting industry at the present time?
Infrastructure. Look around. Yes, right? There is so much deficit. Even after so much has happened in the last 10 years, there is still such a deficit. The good part is that in the past few years, if you look at the central government, their spending on subsidies has started to decrease. The spending on pensions has also started to become somewhat stagnant now, as a percentage of GDP, I mean. So with every single year, more and more capital is being unlocked for us, which we can invest in capex. We can invest it in infrastructure, which will come from the government side, and that can also unlock a lot of private sector investment. So this creates a huge investment opportunity. And because infrastructure is a sector with a high multiplier effect, it leads to a boom in steel, a boom in cement, a boom in cables, and overall, it creates a great opportunity for all-round development.
But don't you feel that the run-up has already happened or that the opportunity is already exhausted?
Just look around you. There is such a huge infrastructure deficit wherever you look. Plus, if you think about it, the infrastructure that does exist is actually concentrated in just 8 or 9 cities, which make up 60% of India's GDP. If we look beyond that, infrastructure hasn't even reached those areas yet. There is a huge deficit in many places, so the opportunity is enormous to bring infrastructure to those areas. For example, if we look at UP, 10 years ago it wasn't even counted in this regard. Today, it is the expressway capital of India. So, in this way, there are many pockets where we haven't even reached yet. Wherever the infrastructure reaches, many more multiplier effects will emerge. Therefore, a huge opportunity is created.
Okay, great. Do you think the maximum opportunities are in large caps or mid caps or SMEs or sector neutral?
SMEs, out of which there are approximately 600,000 entities which specifically fall into the medium or small business category and are considered as such. That means there are approximately 62 million entities that are micro, which are very small. Now just think, if even 1% of this moves up a segment, the number of our medium and small level enterprises will double.
Yeah.
So the opportunity here is huge, and here companies will grow 2, 3, even 4 times.
Okay.
Big companies don't have that much headroom, but here that's going to happen, and that's a huge opportunity as well as a need for our country.
So which industries look good in the SME sector?
I firmly believe that if we learn from China, from South Korea, from Japan, it's very clear that they advanced so much because they knew that the real market lies outside their own country. If you look at your own country's pocket, there's a boundary that gets set. That's how much you can capture. It will grow to a certain extent. That's all you can do. But once you start catering to markets outside, the market becomes vast. If you look at companies from Norway and Finland, today they do business all over the world. We hear names like IKEA. Why is that? Because they know that their market here is very small. They can't become a big company if they only make products for their own market. They had already developed the mindset to go abroad. Now, somewhere, the new generation that's coming up, and we've talked about these SMEs as well, there are 6 crore 20 lakh such entities. They've started thinking along these lines. How can I do business in Dubai? How can I conduct business there? How can I get my products to Saudi Arabia? How can I manufacture t-shirts in Tirupur, fully comply with all requirements, and then send them to South Korea, to Singapore, to Australia? Somewhere that journey has now begun for India. And that's why I have a lot of faith that the real boom, the real growth that's about to come will be entirely export-led, and it will happen through SMEs. Here, the businesses that used to run, if someone was doing business worth 2 or 3 crore rupees a year, suddenly why have they started working abroad? That business will become worth 20 crore, 25 crore, even 100 crore, and no one will even realize it. And we have already seen this. Well-established companies that we see today, doing business worth 5,000 or 10,000 crore rupees in India, companies that have recently launched IPOs, and those IPOs have been blockbusters. 10 years ago, no one even knew their names. If 100 such companies have emerged before us in the last 4 years, then in the next 10 years, thousands of such companies will come up and they will emerge from SMEs. There will be entirely export-led growth.
Wonderful. So there are a lot of opportunities in SMEs.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
You've talked about infrastructure and infrastructure-related companies and SMEs. Are there any untapped sectors where there's a lot of potential, or other sectors that are interesting or exciting?
I genuinely believe that the entire and complete cycle of directly funding this particular initiative itself presents a truly significant and enormous opportunity. Like financial services?
Okay.
Right. Now just think about it this way. Where will all the money come from for all this infrastructure that's going to be built? When companies take on projects, they need to take out loans. For them to get loans, banks need to have money, NBFCs need to have money. Where will that come from? It will come from people. And when people have to invest their money there, a whole financial services chain is created. So a very large cycle is created here in itself, because infrastructure brings growth to the finance industry, and finance in turn brings growth to other sectors as well. So this forms a very beautiful theme of the financialization of the Indian economy.
You have talked about SMEs. You were very bullish. How important is the growth of SMEs for India?
Extremely, extremely important. Just think about it this way. When we talk about the top corporate houses in India today, if we look around, the ones we can truly call the top, meaning those with businesses above 1 to 1.5 trillion rupees, how many such names do we really have? If you look closely, it's just the Ambani family, the Adani family, maybe 1 or 2 more like the Tata Group. That's about it. We need 50 such groups, and to create those 50, we'll need to produce 5,000 people like Deepinder Goyal and Harsha Majeti, who come from startups. And to create those 5,000, we'll need to develop 50,000 such people in SMEs who can run businesses with annual revenues of 500 or 1,000 crores, or at least 500 crores. So that will come from the funnel I just mentioned to you. Out of the 6 crore 20 lakh SMEs and micro enterprises we have, the funnel will gradually fill up one by one, and somewhere along the way, in the next 10 years, we might see the emergence of 50 large enterprises like Ambani, Adani, or Tata Group, and these will rise up from the SME sector itself. So a major contribution will come from them.
Sometimes numbers or data don't tell us the whole truth. Can you give us some examples of why deep research is necessary?
I can give you 2 types of examples here. So right now there are a lot of IPOs happening, which are from the startup sector. Now they often give you a number, GMV or GOV, that is gross order value or gross merchandise value.
Yes.
Now, what they're trying to show is that this is their growth. Look, we've been growing for so long. But actually, if you think about it, here's a simple example. There's an e-commerce platform where you ordered a kurti. Now, the price of that kurti was shown as 5,000 rupees, slashed down to 3,000 rupees as a discount, and you bought it for 3,000. But the company reports that they did a GMV of 5,000. Why did the effective sale happen? Because it was available for 3,000, but they reported as 5,000, right? So this is the basic sense that if you look at the entire IPO market and the big startups coming in, when they report their numbers, there's such a huge difference. Gaming GMV is actually quite simple. Imagine a product originally listed at 5,000 rupees by a small town seller who isn't being closely tracked. The platform can easily bump that price up to 6,000 rupees. Now the GMV shows 6,000 rupees instead of 5,000 rupees, even though the product is still sold at 3,000 rupees by applying a larger discount. That extra discount is then recorded as a marketing or promotional expense. So on paper, the GMV looks inflated, but in reality, it's just a pricing manipulation to show higher growth. You just put it under expenses. So a lot of things happen like this. That's why it's very important to understand the numbers.
Very important.
You can look at another example this way. Just a few days ago, our government released unemployment numbers. They said that the youth unemployment rate in our country is high. That is 15.4%, but people don't know how it's calculated. If you look into this, you'll find that if during any job survey, a person got even an hour's work within a week, say they were sitting on the roadside and someone came up and said, "Hey, help me move some goods from my warehouse into the truck," then that person is counted as employed. So just looking at the numbers and believing in them blindly can be a huge mistake. It's very important to understand how those numbers are being calculated, what the science and methodology behind them are. And that's why it's crucial to realize that simply believing what is being shown to us can be misleading.
Absolutely, very important. And tell me, you already had an inclination towards finance. Tell us a little about your journey. How did you get these lakhs of followers? Milestones?
To be frank, it was never the intention to enter the world of finance. I knew very well that there are only 3 things I am good at, or at least I believe I am good at.
Yes.
One is writing, the second is research, and the third is investing.
Okay.
So I knew there was no point in trying my hand at 4 other things. I would like to do whatever I can by combining these 3. One thing I realized was that most people in India who consume information don't actually know how to consume it. They only consume what they are told to. If someone tells them that something happened here, they just believe that, yes, we've reached this point. They don't know what the truth is, do they? And I believe that if we want to change that mindset, we have to teach people how to consume information. And coming from an edtech background, I know very well that you can't really teach the Indian masses anything. They will only learn what they want to learn. What's important here is that in India, people prefer to learn only from those whom they trust. And that's why I thought we should create content for India's decision makers. By decision makers, I simply mean anyone in India who is providing employment to 5 people, 50 people, or even 5,000 people. They could be the CFO of Tata Group, the CEO of Tata Sons like N. Chandrasekaran, the CFO of Titan, or even an IRS officer. We are actively creating compelling content for them, and that's precisely where it all truly started, that by thoughtfully combining our 3 distinct skills, we would indeed create valuable content that effectively reaches them and profoundly influences their crucial decision-making. That was truly all.
Wonderful. And what have you created so far? Apart from finance, do you have any hobbies or passions?
I love to write. I have written a book before, and I am writing my second one right now. And my ambition is to write a lot of books, to read a lot, and to keep writing, and keep writing, and keep writing. I don't think there's any work I love more than this. So whenever I get time, I try to write more, apart from the world of finance, apart from economics.
Wonderful. So I wish you all the best in your journey ahead. And Jayant, thank you for this enriching and honest conversation.
Thank you so much, and it was lovely being a part of the D-Money TV family. It was great meeting all of you. It felt wonderful connecting with all of you.
Likewise, thank you. That's all for today's episode of Market Pillars Uncovered. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to Money TV, your premier destination for financial insights and guidance. Here at Money TV, we are dedicated to bringing you meticulously researched, expert-led stories and in-depth analyses that are specifically designed to empower you. Our content will help you make more informed investment decisions, develop more effective financial plans for your future, and ultimately live a more prosperous and secure life.